JMS Flower Farms has been helping grape growers protect their vines from insects and fungal diseases with their exclusive product, JMS Stylet Oil, since 1992. Visit www.styleitoil.com today.
Hi, I'm Matthew Malcolm with American Vineyard Magazine, and today at the Sacramento Convention Center, growers and vintners gathered for the annual Unified Wine and Grape Symposium. One of the keynote speakers at the event featured Mike Vizeth, who discussed the current state of the global wine market.
One of the things I talked about was the effect of the exchange rate. And it's easy in any business to imagine that the exchange rate is this thing you see on TV or read about in the newspaper, and it's hard to imagine how it impacts you. And one of the interesting things that some Australian colleagues of mine have been able to do is they were able to track the impact of the exchange rate changes through the wine industry supply chain, and they found that they were almost fully felt back at the grower level. And so that although growers might think I sell to this person and they sell and produce and so forth, that the exchange rate doesn't have a big effect, the research indicates that it very much does trickle down in this way. So it's good to be informed. And one of the issues that I talked about today was the fact that with the rising dollar is going to make imported wine less expensive. And to the extent that the imports come in, because we have a lot of surplus of domestic wine now, I think the positive thing I have to say is that it's going to put a cap on grape prices in the United States. That especially Central Valley wine, the grape prices there are generally capped by what the equivalent wine from Chile or Australia or something would come in, and that cap will diminish a bit. So that's not very good news. It's not the worst news, because the cap, the exchange rate effect, is happening because the U.S. wine market is healthier than almost any other wine market around the world to go with this. So the principal effect is strong market, so hold up prices. But the secondary effect is that the exchange rate, lower import prices are going to keep a cap and even put a little downside pressure on grower prices that they receive from it. The future of American wine is premium and super premium wine. It's not that we'll stop producing value wines and very low price wines, but the rest of the world doesn't have the costs and some of the regulations that we have, and then now with the exchange rate changing, the financial markets are actually working to make those products cheaper. I talked about New Zealand, which once upon a time had a huge, inexpensive wine industry that collapsed. It collapsed, went through a boom bust, and they couldn't sustain the costs. And so they did this interesting thing. They took away, they ripped out vines, and they opened up their markets, and cheap Australian wines flooded in, and it forced them to move up in terms of quality. And they did this so successfully because they were in fact very good growers, and they had a good opportunity. They don't have anywhere near the volume of California, of course, but by realizing that the future was in higher value grapes and wines and committing themselves to that, they were able to move to the point where now, and it's very ironic. Cheap wine in New Zealand is from Australia. Expensive wine in Australia is from New Zealand. When I visit New Zealand, the best-selling white wine in New Zealand the best-selling white wine in Australia, the big market, is New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. And I once went to a restaurant and I said, bring me a white wine that's a local white wine in Australia. And they brought me a New Zealand wine, because that's what everybody drinks there. So it's been hugely successful. Race to the top.
From a grower's perspective, let us take this news and continue striving to increase the quality of California wine grapes to stay on top of the market. Learn more about the proceedings of the 2015 Unified Symposium in American Vineyard Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.